Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts update video. As you can see from the title, I did a little shopping over the past month, and within about like a 20-mile radius of where I live, I hit several of the Dollar Tree stores, and that's what's going to be in this video. The things I picked up over the past 3 or 4 weeks at the Dollar Tree stores. And I got some decent Blu-rays, I got some DVDs, and I'm noticing too that more and more these stores are getting really good stock. I've been noticing a lot of like magnet movies, noticing stuff from Shout Factory and Seasons, stuff like that, and a lot of Blu-rays that I would not have expected to see in Dollar Tree stores, and I'll get into that more when I get to those titles. Some of these movies I do own already, and I paid $20-25 a piece for them. And joining me, as usual, front and center, is Miss Hannah. And she is the queen of this house. She wants to see what we picked up from the Dollar Tree stores. And chilling in the background there is Miss Heidi. And she's going to be probably sleeping by the time I get through stack one. I don't really have these in any particular order. I do have a decent amount of Blu-rays. I have 40 titles total, and like I was saying, I kind of went in like a 20-mile radius of where I live, and over the past 3 or 4 weeks I just hit a bunch of these Dollar Tree stores up just to see what they had for stock. For $1, you can't beat that. I'm curious to hear what you guys have at your Dollar Tree stores, if you have movies that differ from mine. I didn't grab everything, but I did grab quite a few things. And let's just jump right into it here with, like I said, these are in no particular order. This is one that I already own. I have a different version of it. This is called the Ultimate Undead Edition of George A. Romero's Survival of the Dead. Would never have expected to see this in a Dollar Tree. And this is from the label Magnet. And that's another thing too about these Dollar Tree stores lately. Have been getting some really good movies and really good stock as far as where the movies are coming from. I have some Scream Factory stuff, actually Shout Factory, but there's a lot of Magnet titles, and this is one of those. But for $1, I mean, you get the movie in 1080p, you get special features. This is going to be the new edition in my collection. I'll probably end up trading or selling my other copy. Maybe I'll sell it to FYE, but this is a better edition than the one I had already, so that's really cool, and I was glad to pick that up, and I had to snatch it when I saw it. And many of these I have not heard of before, and if any of you guys out there are watching this and you want to chime in on any particular movie that I show, maybe you've seen it and you like it, or you know a little bit of info about it, please feel free to comment below. Here's one called Killer Movie. Kaylee Cuoco, I think that's how you pronounce it. She's in here. She's always very pleasing to look at. I think she's quite fetching. Big fan of Kaylee. Not much in the way of special features. You get a behind the scenes of Killer Movie and a trailer. It sounds like it's kind of a reality TV type horror movie. Next one here is a triple feature. It's called a Triple Feature Action Volume 3. For $1, you get 3 movies on Blu-ray. You get Ving Rhames in Caged Animal. You get Michael Madsen in Outrage. And you get Chris Christopherson and DMX in Lords of the Street. Can't mention anything about any of these movies because I have not seen them, but for $1 for 3 movies, you really can't beat that. This one looks promising. I read the back, and this is based on a true story called Warning Shot. Looks like it's kind of a revenge type flick. And it does come with a slipcover. Very surprising to see these type of movies for $1. This is from Echo Bridge. It says a single mother to a daughter is trapped in a constant struggle to make ends meet. And she inherits a family farmhouse. I can't really read a lot of it because they placed a sticker right there on the corner. But it sounds like they want her to give up the property and she has to kind of fight for what is hers. So I believe David Spade is also in here. There, he is right there. So that is Warning Shots. Let me put the cover back on there. We will continue. Okay, so continuing on, we have a action film called Skin Trade, starring Dolph Lundgren and Tony Jaa. Also has Michael Jai White and Ron Perlman, who was Hellboy. It says must see for action fans. It's a movie from Magnet. It has a slipcover. Unfortunately, I can't pull it off right now because it has a sticker over the UPC hole in the slipcover. They just kind of slapped a sticker over the top of that. So, but it's a really glossy slipcover. Looks like a decent movie, and like I said, for $1, how can you pass that up? A martial arts style action film starring Dolph Lundgren as Detective Nick Cassidy. And I believe this takes place in Bangkok. Yeah, it says the Bangkok underworld, so deals with human trafficking and stuff like that. So looks really cool. That is Skin Trade. Next one looks like a little family gem, a little family fun. Kind of a CGI take on Wizard of Oz. It's called The Steam Engines of Oz, and again, this one stars Ron Perlman. That was a complete coincidence. I did not stack them together like that because Ron Perlman was also in Skin Trade. Just happened to be that way, but you get a Blu-ray DVD of this family movie. And I always like the Wizard of Oz style movies, so for $1, there you go. Steam Engines of Oz. The next one is called Playback with Christian Slater. Another Magnet releasing title. Picture evil, it knows you're there. It says violent shocks and plot twists. Some secrets should stay buried. Movie that was released in 2011. I don't know anything about it. Next one is called Gotti, starring John Travolta as John Gotti. I have heard about this movie. I heard it was pretty good. I don't think I would ever put Travolta. I would not have picked him first to be Gotti, but I have not seen the movie, so maybe he really nails it. But he wouldn't have been my first choice to play Gotti. But I do love Travolta, and I thought he was great in Pulp Fiction and some other movies he's played in. I'm a big fan of Travolta. So I'm looking forward to checking this out and seeing how he portrays John Gotti in the movie. This one's pretty new. I think this one came out not too long ago. 2017 this movie came out. It's already in the dollar bin at the Dollar Tree. The next one is a comedy. I don't really buy a lot of comedy movies. I certainly don't collect them. But when I find them in a dollar bin, I'll grab them. And this one is also put out by Magnet, called Nature Calls. And it has Patton Oswalt, Johnny Knoxville. Johnny Knoxville is right there. Patton Oswalt right there. Rob Riggle. And Patrice O'Neal, who has passed away. He was always funny in the things that he did. But I'm looking forward to checking this out. Nature Calls. Next one is called The Pirates of Somalia. He risked everything to tell their story. It's based on an incredible true story. Has Al Pacino, Melanie Griffith, Evan Peters right there on the left, who was in American Horror Story. And I don't know who Barkhad Abdi is. I'm assuming that's him there. It's the only one I didn't recognize. And there's Evan Peters right there. I think he's a good actor. And I love when Hollywood releases these true stories like this. So I don't know anything about the movie, but I think sometimes going into movies blind is beneficial because you don't know what's happening. And I think sometimes I live under a rock too. Probably most of you guys have heard this story before, but I don't recall hearing about it. But it could be when I put it in and start watching it, I'll say, oh yeah, I do remember this story. But as of now, I don't recall that movie. Here's Officer Down. This is a beautiful release. I watched this movie about a week ago. And the movie and the slipcover, or the case and the slipcover, are better than the movie was, in my opinion. It is a beautiful slipcover, though. Kind of a foil effect. Another magnet releasing movie. And the movie, it really tried to be a modern day grindhouse movie, in my opinion, and it wasn't that great. It took me a couple different times to finish the movie. What I mean by that is I put the movie in, and I think the first night I fell asleep like 20 minutes into the movie. And so I had to continue the movie a different day, and I watched another 30 minutes, and I can't remember what happened, but I stopped the movie and I had to watch it like a third time to finish it, and I don't think I'll ever go back and watch this movie. I was hoping it was going to be kind of in the same vein as like a Maniac Cop, and in a way it kind of is, but it's nowhere near as good, in my opinion. There are some fun moments in this movie. There's a lot of nudity. There's a lot of over-the-top violence, a lot of gore. But it just wasn't a complete package for me. There was a lot of misses in this movie. There was some hits in the movie, a lot of misses, but like I say, for $1, put that in the collection. Why not? A little disappointed in it, though, to be honest, but for $1, I'll keep it. Next one is called Centurion, starring Michael Fassbender. He's always really good. He's a kind of a good tough guy. Always plays like a heroic role. Every once in a while, now this is a Magnet movie. Every once in a while, I get in a mood for this type of a movie, kind of an epic adventure type movie, or kind of these Roman war type movies. But I do have to be in the mood for them. But when I am in the mood, I can sit and binge watch 2 or 3 movies in a row like this. And it brings us to the next title, called Hammer of the Gods. Looks like it's another kind of an epic battle, Viking warriors type movie. Another Magnet release. Another beautiful slipcover, kind of a holographic, almost kind of a metallic foil cover. And this movie was released in 2013. And it has another slipcover, but again, they put a sticker for some reason. Don't know why they do that. But they put a sticker right over the window, but they kind of slap it right onto the slipcover. So I carefully remove those, and sometimes I have to use Goo Gone to get some of the residue off. But I'm really picky about my slipcovers. I don't want to just pull it off and pull off some of the foil, because that has happened to me in the past. But if you take your time and do it right, shouldn't be a problem. But I'm going to pause it here for one moment. We'll get into the next little stack here. Okay, so here is a movie I have on DVD. I was very pleased and a little bit surprised to see that they had Secret of Nim in a dollar bin at a Dollar Tree store. It's a Don Bluth movie. It's an animated movie. It's a little adventure type movie, a feel-good ending. A movie I grew up watching when I was a kid. And I can't believe we're at the stage now where they're giving movies like this away for $1. But I was glad to upgrade that. I would even buy a proper release of this if they had a nice steelbook, and I'm sure they probably do at Zavvi or something, but never really looked into it. But if that's something I would definitely like to even upgrade further than what I have here with the Blu-ray. And another family style movie here on Blu-ray DVD and digital copy for $1. $1. That blows my mind. This is called Adventures at the Chocolate Factory. And this is a British family type movie. I love these kind of movies. Put out by Echo Bridge. This one came out, it said the artwork was updated in 2019, but I don't know when the movie itself came out. Now, I don't know if this is a throwback from like the 80s or if it's just a movie meant to look like a throwback. I don't know anything about the movie. So I don't know if that's from like the mid 80s or early 90s. It looks like it could possibly be from the 80s. But again, they're making movies nowadays to look like throwbacks, so it could very well be that this is a newer release. I don't know. If anybody knows, you can comment below. And it's not that big of a deal. I can always look it up myself. IMDb is very useful. Google is very easy to use. I just like to try to create a little conversation sometimes in the comments section. But that is Adventures at the Chocolate Factory. Now I have a couple of stacks here of DVDs, and these are mostly horror titles, and I have a little stack here at the end, and those are kind of documentary style movies, I guess. First one here is a Scream Factory title for $1 in the dollar bin, and that's called the Clove Hitch Killer, starring Dylan McDermott, who was also in American Horror Story Season 1. Very, very good. That was my favorite season. But that's off topic because I don't have American Horror Story in this pile. Don't know anything about the movie. Here's one that I had on my Amazon wish list. I had the Blu-ray. But I was going to pull a trigger. It wasn't very expensive. I think it was about $10 for the Blu-ray on Amazon. But I wasn't sure if I'd get the slipcover or not. So if I saw it out in the wild somewhere, I was going to grab it if I did see it with the slip. But I didn't want to pay $10 for it, have it come here and have no slip and then have to send it back, or because I'm a little bit picky about that stuff. If a movie has a slipcover and I get one without it, I get a little bit weird about that. But here's the DVD with a slipcover. Good enough for me. Haven't watched it yet. But this stars Omar Epps. And Tom Atkins is in there as well. And this is put out by RLJE Films, RLJ Entertainment. From the director of My Bloody Valentine. The slipcover looks awesome, by the way. I will pop this in within the next couple weeks and check that out. You guys let me know if it's any good or not. Here's a double bill put out by Magnet called Pulse, which also did have a single release. I do have that also from the dollar bin from a couple months ago. But this one also comes with Sick Nurses, which I did not see the single release of that. If they did have the single release, I would have just got that instead, and then I would have had both on standalone editions. But for $1, I picked up a double billing. Even if I do have a double of that, I don't care. Put up by Magnet. Here is a remake, I assume, of Jacob's Ladder. I haven't seen it yet. I have seen the original Jacob's Ladder, and I'm assuming this is a remake. It looks pretty cool. They have some good special effects here on the back. Some good makeup going on. It looks like a little CGI. It does say at the top, a reimagining of the cult classic Thriller, so there you go. Not quite a remake, they're calling it a reimagining. So it probably has a lot of the same themes from the original Jacob's Ladder, but they probably put their own spin to it. Another movie from Magnet with a slipcover called The Eyes of My Mother, a film by Nicholas Pesci. Unfamiliar with that guy. Don't know who he is. Stunning, sick ass. This is what curdled Americana looks like. And you can see that it does look like there's some gore in the movie. I don't know if that's necrophilia. I haven't seen the movie yet. There's definitely some weird things going on here. A beautiful nightmare from start to finish. Another magnet releasing title. Here's the DVD of Officer Down with the slipcover. I wanted to grab it for $1. We talked about that earlier. I also did get this on Blu-ray, but I saw a DVD at a different Dollar Tree, so I grabbed that for the collection for $1. Here's one that looks pretty cool. It's called Dead Sight. You'll Never See Them Coming. Looks like something that the Italians would have put out in the 70s. Looks really cool. That background image with the graveyard, and there's some kind of like a monster lurking in the shadows and the fog. A couple of them back there. That looks really cool. It says achieves maximum tension. RLJ Entertainment. This is probably a case where the cover is better than the movie, but hey, why not? For $1, give it a shot. Here's another Scream Factory or Shout Factory title. IFC Midnight. It's called Radio Flash, starring Dominic Monaghan, who was in the Hobbit trilogy. And it has a newcomer called Brighton Charbino, who was in The Walking Dead. I gave up on that show many, many seasons ago, so I'm unfamiliar with her character in that show, but if that's her, she's a cutie, and I would not mind checking this out. It says it's like a survival games type movie. That is Radio Flash. So we have 2 piles to go, and this one is called Gates of Darkness, another movie that looks like it could have been from Italian horror of the 70s or 80s. This one has Tobin Bell and Adrienne Barbeau. They worked together in the Creepshow television series. They were together in an episode. I think it was the first or second episode of Creepshow season 1. There's Tobin Bell right there. But it looks pretty cool. Next one is called Curse of the Witch's Doll. Really cool cover. Some good artwork. This reminds me of going to the video store days in the 80s to rent movies, and you would see covers like this, and it would jump out at you. A spooky doll with like a dead look in her eye, a big butcher knife in her hand, being held by a young lady, a young girl, who has kind of an evil grin. And that cover would kind of pull you in, and that's advertising at its finest right there. And there you go. You'd flip it over, look on the back, you'd see that, and you'd say, I'm gonna try that out. We'll rent that tonight. And then you watch the movie and you're disappointed and you never rent it again. But hey, who knows? It might be good. Here's kind of an epic role-playing adventure type movie, Knights and Dragons. It's called The Dwarves of Dragon Mountain. The battle to survive has just begun, and that looks awesome. You got a whole army there, dressed to the nines, and a beast of a dragon breathing fire down on anybody who comes near. It said if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you'll get a lot out of this movie, and I am, and we'll see. And I'm sure there's a lot of enjoyment in this movie. I'll check it out. It does look very similar to Lord of the Rings. I know nothing will ever touch Lord of the Rings, so I'm not going to go into this movie expecting Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, but if I can get a little bit of enjoyment out of it, it'd definitely be worth $1. This one was interesting. It's called Termination, and it's an anthology, from what I understand here on the back. It says it has 6 short sci-fi stories about space, interdimensional threats, and murder, told by storytellers all over the world. That really caught my eye. And it almost looks like it's called Termination, and it looks like kind of a female Terminator. Definitely want to check that out. 6 short stories. It doesn't say who these stories were directed by, but it may be amateurs or, maybe no-namers. I hate to say it like that, but maybe guys that are up-and-coming directors, and this is how they're getting their foot in the door. So I'd like to check it out and see what who's out there. Some rising star, maybe. Next one is called Dead Voices, directed by William Butler. Some secrets are better left buried. That's another beautiful cover. I think that guy there is a poor man's Ryan Reynolds. If you glance at him real quick, it looks like it's Ryan Reynolds. At least to me it did, but looks like a very low budget film. From High Octane Pictures. I can't say that I'm familiar, but looking forward to checking it out. I don't know when I'm ever going to find time to watch any, especially all of these, but who knows. Next one is called Delivery, The Beast Within. Not every child is a blessing. So intense and frightening, and yet so real. From Ain't It Cool News. One of the scariest films of the year, okay. Slick, clever, very disturbing. You put little taglines like that, you're going to get some sales, but apparently not too many sales to where they had to resort to dumping these in a dollar bin at the Dollar Tree, but I'm glad to have that for $1. I'll take it. Here's kind of like a horror comedy, I guess, called Dead Ant. And it says Spinal Tap meets Tremors. I would have rather had this on Blu-ray because I have a feeling this one's pretty funny, pretty bad. Kind of bad in a good way, but funny. Has Tom Arnold in it, Jake Busey, and Sean Astin. Where is he? Here's Sean Astin right there. I think that's Jake Busey, and that's definitely Tom Arnold. Dead Ant. Sounds like a lot of fun. Next one I have on Blu-ray already. I'm kind of going backward because now I picked up the DVD, but for $1, I couldn't leave this behind. This is a pretty good movie. Vanishing on 7th Street, put out by Magnet. Thandie Newton is, she's a doll. She's gorgeous. I have kind of a crush on Thandie. I really do. I think she's a sweetie. She's a British actress, but you don't really see her in too many things, but when you do, she stands out. Next one is called Gwen, a Shudder original. They have Shudder movies now in the dollar bin. This is good and bad for collectors. A lot of you guys who are watching this you tuned in because you saw the title, 40 titles at the Dollar Tree, and you want to see what's out there because you want to go pick up some of these movies. And that's great. It's really good that we're able to pick up movies like this for $1. But it leads me to believe that in the not so distant future, I think these are going to be a thing of the past, and everything's going to be digital. That's why you're starting to get these good movies now for $1. RLJ Entertainment, again. This is unbelievably powerful. I think this is kind of a possession movie. Looks like they're sitting around kind of a Ouija board, or I don't know what they're doing. But now here's another one. I couldn't believe this was in the dollar bin. I never watched any of this show, but it was very popular. A lot of people did watch this show, and a lot of people love this show. I want to get into it. Unfortunately, they only had season 4, which this is right here. I want to start from the beginning. I'm not going to start at season 4 and then go back to 1 and go through. But for $1, I had to grab this. This is Bates Motel, season 4, on DVD. Doesn't have much in the way of bonus features, but you get all of season 4 for $1. Unbelievable. I don't know how many discs are in here. It's a pretty heavy set. It says it's approximately 7 hours, 19 minutes. It's got to be at least, I would say, 3 discs. I can't see in there. It's got that clear case. It says there's definitely a swing tray in there. It's either 2 or 3 discs. I would say it's probably 3. But Bates Motel, the complete season 4 for $1. You have to grab that, right? These are silly films. I like to watch these from time to time too. I'm more of a conventional horror fan. You know, I like the straight pure horror film. I'm not really into the schlock. Every once in a while I am. I do get in moods like that, so I did pick this up. I do like horror comedy sometimes when it's done right, like Shaun of the Dead was excellent. That's a great movie. One of the best movies ever made for horror comedy. I'm more of just like the hardcore horror fan, but every once in a while, from time to time, I will watch schlock like this, and this is called the Three-Headed Shark Attack. You've got a three-headed shark. At the top there it says it's uncensored and unrated. You got Danny Trejo and Rob Van Dam in there. I'm not familiar with Karrueche Tran, but she's fetching. She's a nice looking young lady. Every once in a while I do like to pop these in. It's a popcorn type film. You don't have to do a lot of thinking when you're watching these movies. You can leave your brain at the door and just go and have some good fun watching a silly horror film. Three-Headed Shark Attack. Next one's pretty cool. I like these kind of movies too. Curse of the Scarecrow. I do like watching these Scarecrow movies. There's quite a few of them out there. It's like a subgenre all its own, the Scarecrow movies. Killer Scarecrows. But that cover looks really good. And I wanted to pick that up and add it to the collection. Put out by a company called High Octane. Looks like it was from 2018. So again, this movie's only been out for a couple of years now. Already it's in the dollar bin. The next one, we're getting to the end here, guys. The next one's called Elizabeth Harvest from director Sebastian Gutierrez. It says, nothing is as it seems in this brain-bending plunge into your darkest desires. Elizabeth is a beautiful young newlywed. She arrives at a estate of her brilliant scientist husband. She has seemingly everything she could want, but one mystery tantalizes her. What's behind the locked door to Henry's lab? So I guess you have to find that to check it out. What is behind the door of Henry's lab? Pop that in and let's find out. I have one here called Inmate Zero. Cool cover. Looks like it's pretty good. Definitely low budget, but it looks like they did not skimp on the gore, the makeup and stuff. It looks really good. From a company called Vertical. It says the most extreme medical trials are conducted on inmates of a prison. They're doing some kind of nasty experiments and stuff on inmates there. So we got a couple more here. I'll just grab the pile. This is a documentary from the BBC. This is a British documentary called Outlaws. Sounds really cool. It's about the highwaymen and rogues, Britain's anti-heroes. And the first line caught me. I wasn't really looking for this, but when I saw it, I grabbed it. It says, before Billy the Kid and Jesse James, the golden age of the outlaw blossomed in Great Britain. where real life Robin Hoods prowled the open roads and alleyways, and that looks awesome. It's heavy. It feels like it may be 2 discs, or it has a thick booklet or something. It's from the BBC from 2016, so it's not that old, but it's definitely something I'll pop in and check out. Not really into Cat Williams either. I think he's okay. He's not the greatest, by far. But for $1, I got Cat Williams live. He's okay. I'm sure some of you guys out there love Cat Williams, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. He's just not quite my cup of tea. But for $1, I'll pop that in one night if I have some people over and we're having some drinks or something. I don't drink, but it's not that I don't ever drink. I'll have one here and there, but anyway, that's just some background comedy you can pop on. You have people over. And the last one for this haul is called Unlimited Animal Instincts, original movie, the Batman movie from DC Comics. Anytime I can add to my animated superhero collection, especially for $1, I'll buy it. That's awesome. So those are my 40 titles, guys. Let me know what you thought of the video. I do have a lot of stuff to show. I have a lot of stuff. I could probably make 2 one-hour videos. I just haven't felt like doing anything on YouTube lately. I haven't been watching YouTube. Certainly haven't been recording videos. It's not that I'm burnt out. I'm starting to lose interest in YouTube. I don't know why. But I wanted to put this out. This is starting to pile up quite a bit. I was going to do this video a long time ago, and I just kept adding to the pile because, like I said, I didn't have any inkling at all or any feeling to make a video. But if you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subbed, do that. Let me know what you thought of these pickups, and let me know if you've picked up anything recently at the Dollar Tree. But I want you guys to know that I appreciate you stopping by. I really do. I know there's a lot of great channels out there. So for you to come over here and even spend a couple minutes looking at the things I picked up, I really appreciate that. If you made it this far into the video, type the name of my dogs in the comments section, Hannah and Heidi. That'll let me know you guys made it all the way through the video. Take care, guys. I don't know when I'll be back. It may be tomorrow and it may be another month. I have no idea. But you guys stay safe out there. Take care, and I'll see you.